you reached Lesko Free Radio again. It's another week, and we got 6 great items today, and they're all about how to get free money from the internet, these crowdfunding sources, from the government, and even from non-profit organizations. There's lots of free money out there in places you never heard about because they don't advertise. That's what we're here for. We're here to tell you about them. Okay, this is really gonna knock your socks off now. Here's a fella who invented a toy pen out of a series of magnets. Little circular magnets, one on top of each other, and they put a, a ballpoint pen through the middle. Okay, he goes on the website, on the web, on one of the crowdfunding sites, and he's hoping to raise like $14,000. Well, 48 hours, he gets $14,000. Okay, now 10 days later, he's got $400,000 for this pen, made out of magnets stuck together, because it's a wonderful little idea. And that's how you could capture people's imaginations. But more so than capture people's imagination is get almost $500,000 for this thing. And he's not finished fundraising as of the time we did this. So he's probably going to get a lot more. And these are customers who are buying this thing before he even has it. They're not even made yet, and people are throwing money at them. That's what's so neat about using the internet to get money for your ideas. Imagine $500,000 for a toy pen, and he only had, he made half a dozen or whatever just as samples. So it costs next to nothing. Sure, it takes time and your idea and things like that to do it. But this is what the internet is powerful enough, and that's my dog even believes me. So if my dog could do it, you can do it. So watch this video.
Well, listen, Andrew Gardner, you're the inventor of the polar pen. I'm so jealous. This pen you invented. I don't know why I couldn't have done that. And you're always up to $60,000 on this. I don't know if it's a toy, it's a pen, it's a stylus, and all magnets. God, how did this come about, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was one of those sparks that just all of a sudden hit, and I was looking on Kickstarter actually at the time, kind of thinking like, what could I come up with? What works on Kickstarter? And all of a sudden, just this came into my head, and I did some research into it and found out nobody done a product like this, and I couldn't believe it. So I was like, yeah, I did some effort, put some effort into it, and did some work, and here we are.
So how much of an investment do you think that, out-of-pocket cash did it take you to get like the Kickstarter going so you could raise this, $60,000 or whatever you got already?
Yeah, I would say, the majority of the costs are in time, the amount of time I've kind of put into it. I've been developing it for almost a year now. So it's not as much a cost. Obviously, there's been significant cost been put into coming up with prototypes and testing products and the magnets and all that stuff. But really, the financial hasn't been as much as you'd think.
I see. That's not the thing. It's just having the idea and refining your idea. I guess what you're saying, that because this is a new product nobody had before, whatever. So. And it is something tangible, so you just had to make sure it all worked and you refine it. So that takes time, I guess,
exactly,
as an inventor to do that. But out-of-pocket costs, it's just materials, and it's not like you're making a million of these things. You just need one, so it's.
Yeah. I had about 10 kind of samples like that are actually working, functioning samples.
Ah, I see. And now the other thing too is, how do you decide how much money? You were asking for $14,000, right? And you're only halfway through your fundraising, and you already got $60,000.
Yeah. Essentially, the 14,000 was enough for, I think, 1,000 pens, which is what I needed. I needed to sell, a certain amount to get that, and basically it was my minimum order. So I needed, the magnet company was saying, I'm not going to ship your product unless you have an order this large, and all these different, different areas. So I put all my numbers together that way to kind of figure out
That was your minimum order. In other words, to get this manufactured in quantity that made sense, so you didn't have to make one at a time, right? You
Yeah.
needed like to manufacture 1,000, and 14 grand was that, right?
Hmm.
And so you put it on the site for 14 grand. And how long did it take you to get 14 grand?
Yeah, it was under 48 hours. We were at the
48 hours and you got your 14 grand.
and it was one of those things. I got the okay from Kickstarter to launch, and I wasn't sure if I should launch it right away. It was a mid Tuesday, and I was like, oh, should I maybe wait for like a Monday
Weekend's
morning?
better, maybe Monday.
Yeah, exactly. So then I talked to a few friends. They're like, oh, what can you lose? So my actual idea was I wasn't going to start any kind of marketing or even put it on Facebook until the next morning, Wednesday morning.
Uh-huh.
Within like an hour, I'd already had 14 backers, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Wow. No kidding. You didn't even put it on your Facebook page.
No, it was Kickstarter does an amazing job of just bringing in traffic, and that was just solely from Kickstarter. So then once I did see that it was taking off as quickly as it was, I put out a few leads here and there, and yeah, it just started flying.
Now, can you tell of the money you got so far? You're only halfway through and you got 60 grand, right? So can you tell about how much of that is your work versus just traffic flowing in from Kickstarter? Or it's hard to tell?
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is traffic just flowing in from
No
Kickstarter.
kidding.
Definitely when you start up. But then other things start building, like Twitter starts building, and all of a sudden you get people coming in from all over the place. So it's definitely, I wouldn't say 50-50. I would say there's more coming from Kickstarter, but it's catching up. Kind of my efforts are now catching
I
up.
see. So maybe by the end you may surpass and it may be 60-40, with 40 being Kickstarter and you 60 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to put a lot of effort into it yourself.
Oh, damn it. You mean you just can't put it on there and get the money to go to the bank? Oh,
No, it's not that easy.
oh, well, they were lying to me all the time, right? Now, you said that what was important for you is that you tried another fundraiser on another crowdfunding site that failed, huh?
Yeah, I used Indiegogo, which until September 9th, actually, Canadians weren't allowed to put up projects on Kickstarter.
No kidding. What,
Yeah.
because of your accent or what?
No, I think it was just had to do with Amazon and some of the financial aspects of it. So yeah, just actually the day after, the day when I launched it, the day before they allowed Canadians to go on,
So you're
basically.
the first Canadian on Kickstarter.
I'm not the first, but I'm amongst the first. I believe I was the first Canadian Kickstarter to get funding, to get fully funded.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, you got to put that in your advertising there.
Yeah, so I originally used Indiegogo, and I learned so much from that first campaign on how to kind of get the word out and get things going and the failures.
You learn. I mean, what kind of things can you tell people so we don't have to all struggle like you did? Huh?
Well, the marketing end of it, it's
Right.
everything comes down to marketing in the end. If you work good, if you get your marketing going in the right direction at the right time, and you really have to push that first wave. So as the ball starts rolling, if you keep, even now, it's been a week into the project, and it's much more difficult for me to kind of keep it flowing.
Flowing, yeah.
So
But other people tell me there is a cycle, it goes up and down or whatever. But you're saying Indiegogo, I mean, that was a bigger nut needed in the beginning, right? 25 grand. Well, you doubled that anyway, but it's all marketing then, is what you're saying, it sounds like.
yeah, and Kickstarter does a lot really well on its own marketing. So Indiegogo doesn't have quite that following. And it's not quite as artsy of a community. It's a bit more of a tech community. So the product that I was launching on it didn't quite have the appeal to the audience. You have to really pick the right crowdfunding source for the product that you're thinking of launching.
No, I think you're right. Kickstarter, there's so much high tech stuff, and yours isn't really high tech. It looks high tech.
Yeah,
It's low tech that looks high tech.
yeah, that's kind of the idea. Yeah.
But I could see it could appeal to high techy people. I'm really just having a stylus in there too. I mean, everybody's using a pad for something, and
Yeah, you got to keep up with the times. If you stick to old tech like pens, you might just get left behind. So
exactly.
to make sure it was gonna work.
But you got a pen, right? I mean, I'm sure it's funny that pen companies haven't started talking to you yet. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit of an obscure product. I
I
don't I don't know if we're
so
targeting.
far. I mean, it ain't gonna be like because now. I mean, you see, I mean, you know those pen companies are designing things up the yin yang every afternoon to try to get a new market. Every time I go in, there's 50,000 different things that do the same thing.
Hmm.
None that are as cool as this. That's a toy.
Thank you. Yes.
So you really did something terrific here, Andrew. And thank you for being in our community or whatever, and making life more fun for us to do work or get away from work so we can have more fun with the work tools, and for showing us how to have fun in life by just going out and doing things. So good for you. And so people want this to go to polarpen.com and you still order, right, at the
Yeah.
pre-manufactured price, right? Yeah, because you wait on them at the demand, you're going to have to fight with that big price. So you get it now.
Yeah. Get it now when it's hot, and yeah, I hope to
Uh,
continue the product.
Great Christmas presents. Because, man, you might probably want to get a dozen of these things. Because how many people would be, I mean, who couldn't have fun with this thing? Yeah. And,
That's
uh,
the idea. It cures writer's block, I say.
right. Well, wonderful. Thank you again, Andrew. Have fun.
Well, thank you for having me.
You bet.
See, now he even failed the first time he went to try to get money on the internet. He failed at it. So what the heck? So you failed. Then the next time you come out and you're doing $500,000 or whatever it is, 400,000 that he was doing at this time. So that's what life is about. It's about trying and learning, trying and learning, trying and learning. You can't get up out of bed one day and just hit a home run. You got to learn how to play the game. And that's right. Now it doesn't take any magic because the tools are right on the web, right on your kitchen table. Anybody can learn this. So get out there, get online, and start learning how to use these tools. Listen, beginning October 1st, 26 million Americans will be eligible to get money. Grants up to $5,290. Actually, that's the average amount of money that they're eligible for. So you got 26 million people going to get an average of $5,290 to pay for their health care insurance. That's right. That's Obamacare. It goes October 1. You can go on the local exchange websites and start figuring this stuff out. There's a lot of help there. Now, actually, the Washington Post recently went over some sample people in the Washington area and what they would get. Look at this. Ariana Griffin, can't even say the word. Okay, 32-year-old woman makes $47,000. Now she was trying to get health insurance and they said she had a pre-existing condition because she was 30 pounds overweight. So they were going to charge her an arm and a leg. Okay, going on the exchange for the Obamacare plan, $121 a month. That's what it would cost her for insurance. Okay, Amelia Rosa, 51 years old, making $22,000. This is the Washington, D.C. area. Okay, her cost, zip, free. A lot more people are going to get free health coverage nowadays. So that's why you got to figure this out. Okay, Anelia Russo, a mother of 3, making $30,000 a year with bypass surgery. Talk about a pre-existing condition. They would have cost her an arm and a leg and maybe a heart. Hers is free. See, now these are incomes $30,000 to $50,000 a year, but it's all incomes. Look at this. Families making up to $94,000 a year will get money up to $3,550 to pay for health insurance. God, so people making almost $100,000 a year are going to get $3,500 to help pay for their insurance. You got to figure this out. You got to go there, guys. Starting October 1, go to find out the exchange in the state you live in. Go to this website, localhealth.healthcare.gov. So it's part of healthcare.gov, but you go localhealth.healthcare.gov. Okay, and you put in your zip code and you find out the exchange in your area. They have people on the phones. They call them healthcare navigators. They're not selling you anything. See, all the plans are there and they help you choose. They help you evaluate. So these are free sources of expertise and help before a salesman gets to you and trying to shove something down your throat. So, and all these subsidies are there. Man, I think this is the biggest, subsidies that the government has since like a Medicare, which I'm getting now. So that's what I find out about it. Because whether you need these subsidies or not, you need health care. And that's important to have. Particularly all pre-existing, you don't have to worry about pre-existing conditions. All preventive health care services are now free. So there's a lot of good stuff. Even though most people don't like it, I don't even like it. But it is the game. And it is what's happening now. So take advantage of it. Localhealth.healthcare.gov. Okay? Okay, here are two delightful people I want to introduce you to. And actually, they're a pair of entrepreneurs together now. Actually, it's a father and son team. The dad's as old as I am, in his 70s, and the son is half his age. The son's a composer. Dad's like a filmmaker and camera guy or whatever. And what he invented, really, was something that's called a hip jib. In other words, he takes his, instead of having a jib, where you have these big poles and equipment, to carry around to get interesting shots, he developed one that's easy to travel with, that you could just put it on your hip on a strap, and you're able to go all over, with your camera like this. It's a terrific idea. Actually, I got so excited, I ordered one after talking to him because I could use it to photograph myself walking down the street and do interviews like this, but do it outside and have a camera hooked to my hip. So it's a wonderful idea. And what they did, though, is they developed a prototype. It took them some time. And then they went on the net to try to find, the internet, to try to find funding to put this thing together. And they were hoping to get like $20,000 or whatever of people interested in a product like this, from camera people, amateur camera people, professionals or whatever. And they wound up getting $30,000. And when you listen to their video or whatever, the interview I did with them, you see how excited they got about doing this. When you go on the internet, it's like a gold rush. You have 30 days to see how much money you're going to get, and the money keeps pouring in, and you get so excited about it. People all over the world are calling them and contacting them and telling them good ideas on what to do and what not to do and how to make it better and whatever. See, that's what's so neat about doing it this way, because you haven't made the product yet, so people are giving you ideas on how to make it better and they're ordering it too. So you haven't really made it yet, so you have a chance to do that. And so you're getting all this input, hundreds of people, thousands of people. People want to now distribute your product too. So that's why using this for your idea to see how well it's going to do in the market is just a terrific thing, because you're finding customers, you're finding distributors, you're finding new ideas, and all this does is cost you nothing to do it. You put on the internet and the internet does it all. Where else are you going to get something like this? That's why it's so interesting to do projects now and, come up with new ideas and to make the world a little bit better with your idea. And you can do that with the tools that are around. All you need is this guy or this thing, your phone or whatever, to do these kinds of things. So watch this interview and you see how excited they get about it. You can take this excitement too. Boy, it's fun to watch money roll in over the internet just for you. Watch this. Okay, Tobias and Gert Wagner. Now you're a father and son team, and I hope people could tell the difference. They may not be able to. Your dad looks so young. And you invented the hip jib, which is for filmmakers, so they don't have to travel with a jib, and they have this little belt they put on, and you're all set to go. So how did this start, Gert? How did you figure out this thing?
So, how did we start?
How did you start?
It started off with tricky situations where I sort of felt lost how to cope with it, and so, for instance, I wanted a camera movement. Mm-hmm. And so I just stuck my tripod into my tummy until it hurt so much that I had to give up, but I had my shot. But when I came back home, I was trying to think of something that would be more comfortable. So gradually, from experience like this thing
Wow.
developed.
So initially you just put your tripod on your tummy and would walk around like that?
Not walking around, just doing this, just
Still.
getting stability, which is very important when you do films, or having a camera movement, either left or right or up and down.
I see. So if it was stable, it could move nicely like that, huh? Wow. And so now you developed this device where you hook in the legs of the tripod, right?
Yeah.
And that gives you so much more flexibility, and you don't have to work on your washboard abs anymore, right?
It's extremely, it's really great fun to use because it gives you instant stability, you feel well with it. And in fact, I couldn't do without it anymore, frankly.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So in other words, so this is, if you were just holding a camera, then you feel that even the tripod, on your stomach with the hip jib is better than holding the camera. I mean, I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't know all the details, but that's what makes it, huh?
There's a world of difference.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, it does make all the difference.
Huh.
We had amateur filmers tested. We had we were surveying all kinds of people, and they plugged their tripod in it, and they could instantly feel you get a sense of security with the camera. You can do movements like great ease. You don't have to learn it. You don't have to spend a lot of money or just here it is. This is
that's it. That's the whole thing. No, the videos are wonderful on your site. Yeah. There's the hole for the tripod, and that's it. Well, I mean, but you had to figure out how to get that engineered to be made, so you didn't...
Oh, that's a different story, though.
Yeah.
Of course, we started off with a very primitive prototype, which I built myself.
Mm-hmm.
But once it comes to engineering, whether it's Chinese or German, it's, that's a rather complicated process.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and now it really looks like a piece of, almost like an engine.
Right.
It
looks like a fine quality.
You have to close look at it.
Well, now your son is into music, so he's, besides lending all the music to all the beautiful videos on your Kickstarter thing, but he's helping you do the Kickstarter campaign even also, correct?
Yeah, sure. We did that together.
We actually have an extended team. It's us, and then it's Kickstarter campaigns. They're great fun. As we said, just the amount of people that you get to know with other musicians that I've met through this campaign and all that. It's great fun. You get a lot of feedback, a lot of interaction, and it's you just sense the whole dynamic behind putting something out in the world. But putting something out in the world also requires you to knowing everybody, having everybody know about what you're putting out there. And we had to hire a PR person to help us with this, because the amount of emails that we had to answer these last few weeks and months is exorbitant.
Yeah, those customers get in the way, don't they?
Yeah.
Those annoying customers.
It does get a little addictive, at times. It's just the whole excitement about it, and just seeing the graph slowly go upward, hopefully.
Well, it's like the gold rush or something. You went out there, you dig a hole, and all of a sudden this gold is shooting out. I mean, you're up to almost $30,000 already, and you only wanted 20. So did you screw up or what?
We screwed up in a good way, right?
But it's a wonderful idea. And I mentioned earlier that I'm getting one, definitely, because I was trying to figure out how to film myself outside without having to have a cameraman, and not having a still camera. I want to walk down the street and have the camera on me and talk, and I could do that with your hip jib, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So right after this, man, I'm going on Kickstarter and signing up. And so when is delivery? Now that's what I want to know.
Well, we expect it we expect to be ready for shipment beginning of December.
Ah, for Christmas, great.
Yeah, right. Just in time. Yeah.
And so you're going to ship from Germany, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I noticed it's only like $25 to ship from there, so that's nothing. I mean, a piece of equipment to do that. I was surprised.
Yeah, we're not quite sure yet.
I see.
To New Zealand is probably not enough.
I see.
Not to the States, but within Europe it should work.
Details.
Well,
when you're big, you'll have distributors in New Zealand and everywhere, and you won't have to worry about it. Well, you guys are terrific, and it must be nice to work with your son, on a project like this and get to know each other, professionally, and not have to worry about some stranger stealing from you, right? You can control your son a little better. And so it's Hip Jib on Kickstarter, but you also have a website, right? That is it hipjib.com?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so after the Kickstarter campaign, because this video will probably last longer than that, so people could always go to hipjib.com and find out about this new cool thing for anybody with a camera, video camera, and I guess still too, right? It'll work, and God, the price is right. You don't have to worry about the price, and God, great. Well, awfully nice to meet you guys out there in Germany. Thanks for thinking this idea and sharing it with the rest of us. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Say, isn't that neat? Now, I can't wait to get mine in the mail. And I'll have it just in a few weeks, and I can go out and go down in front of the White House or whatever and videotape myself doing commentary like this with the White House. I don't have to need a cameraman or anything. See, I mean, cool things like this. You can invent cool things too. You probably know cool things that you think the world should have now. So you can go on the internet, just with the idea and a mock-up of what it looks like, and start getting money to go in production, or even to develop a better idea about it. It's out there waiting for you. You just have to do something about it to use it. Now, this young lady you're going to meet was a pole vaulter in college. So she's more, just a few years out of college, didn't know what she was going to do. Man, by the way, pole vaulting just seems the most amazing thing in the world to try to do. I could never understand how that happens. Anyway, she did it and was quite successful in college doing this. So after college, she's trying to figure out what to do, and she runs into this friend of a friend kind of guy who's a geeky kind of guy, and he invented something called, it actually finds your keys. Your keys, you lose them. Well, he's got a little device, you hook it on your keychain, and anytime you lose it, your phone finds it. So the Bluetooth technology finds it, and what happens is you turn it on, and then you say, well, you're hotter, 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 colder, colder, colder. It's like that little kids game, where you find it and runs you right into wherever your keys are. It's a great thing. Well, she went on the website and started, try to get free money on the web, for her idea, and they made a couple of models. I mean, with 3D printers, you could you don't have to have one of these things. There's service bureaus out there will make anything out of plastic or a lot of other materials as a sample. So for less than like $100 or so, you can have a sample product of anything. You put it on the website and say, hey, this thing's going to do this, and you guys want to bet some money on something like this? And that's what she did. So she was looking for like $3,500 so they could make like 1,000 of these things. And instead of getting $3,500, they got $15,000. And they're so excited. Their first business, and now they have a whole company, man. They feel they're doing this. They were so successful at doing this key finder business that they're going to do others and build a whole new career for both of them. She's a marketing person, and he's a techie, that loves inventing all this and hates being in front of the camera or doing any marketing, but she loves that. So watch how they put this deal together and made all this money on the internet really for free. So Leah McNaughton, right? And the founder or the co-founder of the Jster. And you're going to find these things for me, right? My keys. And you got neat technology. My cell phone will find my keys anytime I lose them. And I'm an old guy and I lost them a lot. So how did this come by? Yeah. So how did you design, or what made you think of doing this thing?
Well, like I said, my business partner, Joaquin Prendes, he invented it. He came up with the idea. He knows about Bluetooth Smart technology and the capabilities. And so this was his idea. And several months ago, he did lose his keys. And this kind of helped spark.
Wow, he lost his keys, and so there must be a way. So show us the device. What's that device look like?
So it looks about like this. Now this is a prototype. These are made off of a 3D printer.
Right.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar, but
Oh, absolutely. I think they're great, right?
so yeah, 3D printer actually made our original cases. Now, as you can tell, the 3D printer has a certain look to it. It's not like your normal plastic that's smooth and shiny and nice.
Right.
So throughout the Kickstarter, we actually made a partnership with a local injection molding company. And the case, so Jacer's getting a new look. The case is changing slightly. It's more or less going to look.
So you went on Kickstarter to raise money for this thing because you didn't have the money, and you needed like what, $3,000-4,000, right? And you got how much? $15,000. Now you're smart people. Why were you wrong?
We were so ecstatic. We hit our funding goal within the first 10 days or so, and our gears started turning again about how we can improve this. What can we do with the extra money? And we wanted everything to go back into the product because if people like it that much, we want to make it the best.
So in other words, the $3,500 you got in how many days? 10 days you got that, so that in 30 days you had this thing, and you got $15,000 over 60 days, or what is it, July, about 35 days or something like that. And so you got $15,000. Now you're going to make it, right? So this is all money you got for free from the internet. So now, and you did the prototype with a 3D printer. About how much did that cost to build that thing?
To build the 3D printer?
Yeah, not the printer, but to build the prototype.
To build the printer? The 3D printers, the plastic is relatively very inexpensive.
So I mean, $100 is a lot of money to do that, huh?
Costs a lot of money.
Yeah, cost, like just for the plastic for the prototype, and the 3D printer thing.
The 3D printer, well, Joaquin actually built the 3D printer himself, so he bought the pieces and built the printer, which saved some money, but it was still quite an investment. And then the time it takes to make one of these was really our issue. When we knew we were getting over that 100 mark, where we knew we were going to have to make a substantial quantity, we said, okay, let's really look at our options.
I mean, you could find, a service that has 3D printers for a couple $100. They'll print one of these for you, right?
Yeah. We wanted as high a quality as we could afford, and so Joaquin was, luckily, he has the background to kind of do all sorts of things. So.
But not pole vaulting, huh?
I don't know. Maybe.
Just so people know, you're a trained pole vaulter from the University of Florida, right?
Actually, Florida State University. Those are our rivals. That's funny.
Be interesting because as an entrepreneur, I mean, to me, that's what life is: trying to get over hurdles, around hurdles, or whatever. So the pole vaulting is very important.
It is. It's very metaphorical because, as you may or may not know, when you compete in pole vaulting, the bar keeps getting higher and higher, and you don't stop pole vaulting until you miss. You keep going until you miss. So.
Sort of like life, huh?
Just keep trying and set the bar a little higher every time, yeah.
Well, that's about it. So you had this idea, you meet each other, say, well, hey, let's go to the garage and finish out something. Now, it works with like Bluetooth technology, is that it? It's an app you put on your phone, right? And it works for about 50 feet or something. So anywhere, where the heck are my keys? And you look at your phone. And what's neat about it it tells you it's like that game you played as a kid, you know, warmer, 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 colder, 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 warmer, warmer.
Yep, exactly. It's such an intuitive representation, and so
So you walk around this and it gets bluer or what is it, green or red, versus on if you're getting further away from it or closer.
yeah, the gradient, the farther you are away, it'll be down near the cold marker, and as soon as you get closer to it, it'll shoot right up to the hot. And it is fun. We're thinking people are gonna use this in other ways, I'm sure.
That's right. I got to put them on my socks. Yeah, right. When they go in the dryer.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything you want to track, it doesn't have to go on your keys.
Or your kid running around the house. Where the hell is that kid? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Sky's the limit. So this is our J-Ster keychain, but we'll have other J-Sters hopefully that we can make other form factors.
So
Now you're looking at, with the success of this, you're looking at other kind of products, and you're going to put Jacqueline in a box somewhere and invent all this stuff, right? And you're going to go out and sell the hell out of it, right?
And we have the most amazing backers. We've had people message us with all kinds of ideas for features and different kinds of J-Sters. So even the support that Kickstarter's given us financially, they've also given us a think tank, a virtual think tank of people just offering suggestions. So
in other words, so the people that are on this, that are supporting you from, you know, and the product is like around $40 kind of thing, right? So people are also giving you suggestions because you're really not, you just had the prototype, you're not finished manufacturing. So you got all this talent helping you make this a better product.
Right, because especially considering most people that are interested in it probably like technology a little bit. And so, you know, we're considering each and every suggestion we've gotten and saying, oh.
Yeah, see, you can't do that when you buy something on Amazon, right? You just have to give money, you get the product, and that's it, you know?
It's sort of like they've given us a platform to create this community of people that are interested in not only our product, but our company now.
Yeah, wow, that's terrific. So you got an instant base, you know a success, and that, you know, it seems that, to me, that's a lot better than going out trying to raise 15 grand to make this thing and not know if it sells, right? And this way, you know it sells, didn't cost you, it cost you very little to put up the site on Kickstarter, right? And just do a video and you're there and people throw money at you.
More or less, it's that simple. Yeah, you have to.
Well, that's wonderful. And so if people are looking for it, it's findjaystarter.com, FINDJAYSTER, Jayster, right? Jayster.com. And Leah, this is a great idea. Joachim is a brilliant guy knowing how to do all this stuff, and you're going to have lots more products to find the things we lose. And probably a lot of other things, as we were talking earlier, maybe even in the healthcare field or the fitness field or whatever. If you lose your pole vaulting pole, where the heck did that pole go to?
Exactly. Yes, we will continue to innovate, and hopefully, because we had such an amazing start, we're gonna keep coming out and probably use Kickstarter for our next product to launch because it was so successful the first round.
Wonderful. Well, you're nice people, deserve the success, and young people out of school, I mean, that's what you should be doing. Why work for somebody that you're going to hate?
We paid our dues for a little bit, but we also came from families that had their own businesses. So I think in the back of our minds, we always knew we wanted to be a part of something bigger. And we're both experienced enough, but still young enough to have the energy to make this our life, because it has been the last month.
Oh yeah, no, you don't work less when you have your own business.
Now that we're producing them, it's insane and it's awesome at the same time. So it truly is it's a roller coaster, and Kickstarter was just phenomenal. We couldn't have been happier with how it turned out.
Wonderful. Well, can't happen nicer people. Thank you so much, Leah. See, so this is another way and that you could see people are doing this all over. I think this is one of the neatest things in our country right now. You don't need a lot of money or anything to test ideas and to try and see, if people want to spend money on them. And it's just the neatest thing. It's better than a government grant. So try this. Listen, beginning October 1st, 26 million Americans will be eligible to get money. Grants up to $5,290. Actually, that's the average amount of money that they're eligible for. So you got 26 million people going to get an average of $5,290 to pay for their health care insurance. That's right. That's Obamacare. It goes October 1. You can go on the local exchange websites and start figuring this stuff out. There's a lot of help there. Now, actually, the Washington Post recently went over some sample people in the Washington area and what they would get. Look at this. Ariana Griffin, can't even say the word. Okay, 32-year-old woman makes $47,000. Now, she was trying to get health insurance, and they said she had a pre-existing condition because she was 30 pounds overweight. So they were going to charge her nominally. Okay, going on the exchange for the Obamacare plan, $121 a month. That's what it would cost her for insurance. Okay, Amelia Rosa, 51 years old, making $22,000. This is the Washington, D.C. area. Okay, her cost, zip, free. A lot more people are going to get free health coverage nowadays. So that's why you got to figure this out. Okay, Anelia Russo, a mother of 3, making $30,000 a year with bypass surgery. Talk about a pre-existing condition. They would have cost her an arm and a leg and maybe a heart. Hers is free. So, now these are incomes $30,000 to $50,000 a year, but it's all incomes. Look at this. Families making up to $94,000 a year will get money up to $3,550 to pay for health insurance. God, so people making almost $100,000 a year are going to get $3,500 to help pay for their insurance. You got to figure this out. You got to go there, okay? Starting October 1, go to find out the exchange in the state you live in. Go to this website, localhealth.healthcare.gov. So it's part of healthcare.gov, but you go localhealth.healthcare.gov, okay, and you put in your zip code and you find out the exchange in your area. They have people on the phones. They call them healthcare navigators. They're not selling you anything. See, all the plans are there and they help you choose. They help you evaluate. So these are free sources of expertise and help before a salesman gets to you and try to shove something down your throat. So, and all these subsidies are there. Man, I think this is the biggest, subsidies that the government has since like a Medicare, which I'm getting now. So that's what I find out about it. Because whether you need these subsidies or not, you need health care. And that's important to have. Particularly all pre-existing, you don't have to worry about pre-existing conditions. All preventive health care services are now free. So there's a lot of good stuff. Even though most people don't like it, I don't even like it. But it is the game. And it is what's happening now. So take advantage of it. Localhealth.healthcare.gov. Okay? Now, after you watch this next video, you're going to want to get on a plane and go to Singapore to see what's going on out there. Because these are 2 high school, college sophomores. So they study at a university in Singapore, technology and design. And they spent a summer up in Massachusetts going to school for a couple months, some kind of exchange program. And what they did, they saw, actually it's the woman, it's a young woman and a young guy, but the woman had trouble finding her pass to get on the metro all the time, the subway, because it was so small and it loses in the purse. She said, why isn't that on a ring? So they got together and figured out the technology of how to get all that stuff that's on a plastic card, when you go in the subway or anywhere, to put it on a ring so it's always with you and you just slap your ring on it, and then wow, you're into the subway, right? You don't have to fish around for that card or in your back pocket and it cracks and all this kind of, and they're actually designer rings too, so they're fashion statements. So they came over here for a few months. They talked to the transit people over there and they said, hey, yeah, this sounds like a cool idea. idea. And they figured it all out. And what did they raise? They raised like $20,000 on the internet to finance the first production of this. Actually, they only needed like $5,000, I think it was, but they got $20,000. You know? So that's really cool. These are young people, you know, just second year in college. They come over here for a few months and find out how to use the system already. Man, that's really using your head, isn't it? You know, and actually what it is, so now they have a contract with, you know, the Boston Transit people, so they can go city to city and do all that. They probably won't even finish college for all I know. Why would they? They got a thriving business already, you know. And that's what it is. I mean, that's what's so neat about the internet, is taking ideas nobody else had. You know, we all have those kind of ideas that nobody, hey, why don't they do this? Well, here, you do this and put it on the web and find out. So watch how they did it. And they're just delightful people too. So watch this video. Okay, so we have Olivia Xiao and Edward Tiong, right? Were they sort of close or what? Yeah. But you guys are just terrific. You're only in your sophomore year at a Singapore, what is the university? Singapore what?
Singapore University of Technology and Design.
Singapore University of Technology and Design, and you spent a few months at MIT on an exchange program, and you come back to Singapore and you invented this ring that everybody could use now instead of a credit card or using the transit. You just put your ring there and you're through the gates without going through your wallet or your purse or trying to find the card. This is ingenious. What made you think about this? What gave you the idea to design that?
So I would spend a lot of my time waiting at the gantry and digging through my bag to get my card. And that was something that really frustrated me, and I thought maybe it would be good if I could wear the card instead of keeping it in my bag. So Edward and I, we got together and started building a prototype. We wanted to shrink the card from this size to this size. And through that process, we came on the idea of actually making it as a school identity, a corporate identity, and then something for public transit. And so that's the ring was born.
I see. So was it born in Boston or in Singapore?
It was actually born in Singapore. So we had our first pilot trial in our college, the Singapore University of Technology and Design, and we launched the ring to 300 of our freshmen at the college. I see. And they're using it to access the laboratories, their dormitories, classrooms, and lecture theaters.
So they just flash the ring, right? Well, see what's interesting, Edward, that it took a young woman to realize how important this was, right? Because she fumbling around in the purse. So this is more reason why we need more women in technology to solve problems in life, right?
I think especially the men like to keep their smart cards in their back pocket.
Right.
So it's a little bit more convenient for them.
See?
And the problem isn't that apparent. But when you start seeing people wearing the ring around, it starts being a cool thing, starts being an identity. And then, you know, even the men want it now. It's not just a girl thing.
Now they want it because it's cool. The girls are using it, right?
I think a blend of gender, engineering and design will make really cool products because of the perspective that are injected in a project like this.
I see, right. It is. I mean, but more importantly, you took this idea and put it on a crowdfunding site, Kickstarter, and you raised $20,000. You know, that's even big money in Singapore, isn't it?
So what we're trying to do with Kickstarter is to basically get the idea off the ground. We designed this ring because we thought we could do something different with common technologies like smart card. Right. And so we created this ring and we wanted to get it off the ground as soon as possible. So the Kickstarter was a great platform to do that. And we were glad, we were surprised that it got such a good reception and adoption rate in Boston.
Well, you were only looking for $5,000, right? And you got $20,000. How long did it take you to get the 5,000? I see you were on there for, gosh, only 23 days, the whole thing. But the 5,000, how long did it take to get to the 5,000?
I think we managed to hit 5,000 in about 3 days.
3 days? So you had your goal in 3 days. What took you so
It was something that we didn't quite expect as well, but we tried our best and it's good to see there's a lot of support from the Boston community.
Yeah.
And yeah, we want to try our best to meet all those demands of those lovely people who have supported us.
That's terrific. And that's what's, to me, so exciting about it, is that not only have you done it because it's just for Boston, ran the transit in Boston, right? That you now can go to every city with a transit to have a different product. And so now you have a really big business potential, just by starting in Boston. I mean, we have a lot of cities, and I'm sure Singapore even has this potential, right?
Yeah. One thing that I want to say is that we're very thankful for the support from the Boston Public Transit Authority. And they were the ones who allowed us to use their train stations as our pilot test.
Oh, really?
And if not for them, we might not have started being able to enter this public transit market. And through this success story, maybe we can move to other areas all over the world.
Well, that's very interesting. So really you needed the cooperation of the Transit Authority to be able to work out the technology problems that you would have. And so they were open to you, to do this. And you don't even look like you're Americans, huh?
Well,
they didn't think you were terrorists or something. Or
well, it's not really about the technology problem, because what we have, our ring can accept most smart cards and work successfully with many existing systems, but it's more of getting their approval and the permission to use our rings on their system.
Oh, I see. Do you have to share the income with them, or what?
I think what's really awesome about the Massachusetts Bay Area Transport Authority is that they're really supportive of such young and new ideas.
Oh, that's terrific.
Potentially be quite innovative in a field that is something that people transit on every day. Yeah. So we were very thankful of that, and I think it was great that they supported us at a young stage, and allowed us to get the idea to as many people as possible.
Yeah, well, no, it's terrific, and now they're seen as leaders in the public transportation industry because they're using this ring to get on the. So you made them a hero too. Well, you're great people, an inspiring story for what you've done. I mean, you're just sophomores in college and came up with this idea and just did it, and you found $20,000 on the internet to help you do that, and you got even a big organization in Boston to help you do this, and you didn't even know where Boston was probably until you got here. And it's just having that heart and that dream that you made it happen. So we have a lot to learn from you guys, and thank you for sharing this experience with us and letting me show off my Mandarin. Sai Xian!
It was our pleasure to speak to you, Uncle Lesko. You look awesome.
Tell my wife. Thank you again, guys.
Thank you, Uncle Lesko.
See you.
再见.
See? Don't you want to go to Singapore? Well, I do actually speak a little Mandarin, so and I tried to study Mandarin, and that's one of the languages they speak. I'd say, I mean, this is where our world is going. It's a flat world, so whether you're Singapore or Kentucky or whatever, you have access to the same tools to raise money or to find markets or to do whatever you want to do. And that's what's so neat about our society now. You don't have to be a fat cat living on Wall Street to do things anymore in this country. The tools are there for you right on your kitchen table or right on your phone or whatever it is. And the only thing, the difference between them and you is they did it. That's the difference between all of us. I mean, the people go out and do stuff. You learn, you fail, you learn. You have to do that. So get out there and start failing so you really learn stuff.